go. Alright guys, what's up you guys? So we're just going to work on some top laner tier list here. Top lane meta has really just changed a lot over the last like couple seasons here. But just in case you don't know, like name's Silent Rain here. I've been playing competitive Unite for the last like couple years here, and I feel like I have a good grasp of top lane. I've been playing top lane ever since the first season. Was a jungler at once, but then switched over to top lane, and ever since then stayed there. So yeah, this is kind of backstory here for me. And well, hey, enough about me. Let's get on to the video here. So we'll just first one go in order in terms of the all-rounders, speedsters, tanks, and even some attackers and supports are played as top lane carries in some ways, in shape or form. So to start with some things, let's start with the good old reliable Lucario here. Right now he's just a great pick. In general, he just prefers good matchups right now. He wants to get an early start, and he wants to have like a really good matchup into the lane. If he has a good matchup and getting an early lead, the character is pretty crazy. If it's a bad matchup and he can't really get an early lead started, then he becomes like a not so great character. So it really just depends on the draft and the meta that it's in. But the meta right now is very like tank heavy, which you'll see pretty soon what the meta picks are. But Lucario, great pick so far. And next up we got Garchomp here. Garchomp right now is kind of looking like a counter pick character right now. Right now some of the characters, which there's no Falinks on here. There's no Falinks on this freaking tier list. Okay, I was about to say like Falinks. He does really well against Falinks. In case you don't know, Falinks here is actually really good. Probably one of the meta picks right now. Does really well against Falinks here. But you'll start to find out that overall there are going to be more matchups that are going to be harder for Garchomp to get started. Granted, he has some really good matchups against some of the tops. Like Blaziken, he's really good against. Metagross, he's pretty decent against. He can kind of go toe-to-toe with Buzzwole after the nerfs. But the main thing is like in top lane, how good are you against tanks, Falinks, and some of the meta picks? Right now, I don't think Garchomp picks that bill, but he is definitely a good counterpick character, so that's what we're going to see him for now. Machamp here. Now, I know all you Machisel fans are going to be not so happy about this, but I think he's also just like a counterpick right now. Or he might not even be that great, because he needs to get a good lane. He needs to like get a bunch of XP. He needs to hit good ults. Sometimes it can be inconsistent. But when he hits those ults and he gets early lead, he feels like this character sometimes. But he's a very polarizing character. He either does well, or he does absolutely nothing here. So, other than that, when it comes to Machamp, it just right now, it does not evolve around him. His ult, he really is just like an ult character, which you'll see pretty soon here. Another character that you'll be quite surprised is on this list right here. Is Charizard. I think Charizard is not in the greatest spot, but I think he's actually pretty decent right now after the changes. I do think stacking on Charizard is actually pretty decent. I know it's a weird pick, but I get some success with it. But not saying it's great here. Don't start spamming Charizard in the top lane just because I said something or I said he's not so great. In fact, don't do it. But he has some play towards him. And I'll explain real quickly. Flablets and his melee overall kit does really well with stacks. It actually tends really well. He gets a bigger shield, really hard to kill, and it just overall does well with his attack stat. But should you play him in top lane right now? No. He's very polarizing. At least in top lane, he can at least do something at level 5. Unlike T-Tar here, or some of the Urshifus, which I haven't put on this list, because they are really bad and garbage in the top lane. At least Charizard can somewhat do something. Again, Urshifu can do something at 5, but like, it's just really bad. Don't play Urshifu top lane, please. Next is Dragonite. Also, I think I'm going to put him in counter pick. Only because like this is specifically Outrage. It can be niche. It can be good sometimes. You know, I'll put this at counter pick / niche. It's more of a niche pick right now. Why is it not? Wow, doesn't. There we go. So, very niche pick. Only for certain situations. You can make this character work in the top lane. You gotta like really have a team around it. It needs to get to level 8. Once it's 8, if you get early lead with this character, get 8, then he's actually a good character. You're gonna see a lot of trends with this top lane tier list. Is that a lot of mons that are good is if you get them online pretty quickly, and how easy is it for them to get online? Then you're gonna see like a trend for that one. Scizor. Now this is Scizor, not Scyther, because Scyther's right here. So I'll put Scizor and Scyther right next to each other. Scizor, I think is actually a good pick, a decent pick in draft. And hear me out. It's because like, with the recent changes to Muscle Band, Muscle Band's actually a great overall item for Scizor. Tends really well with his laning phase and does really well with his bullet punch since it, gives him resets and also gives him enhanced autos and quicker autos. So Muscle Band really does well with this character and is better in lane. Is he meta? No, but he can do pretty decent well against things like Blastoise. You run full heal. He can do well against Gyarados, since Gyarados is a very auto-based character. He needs to hit his abilities, and so Scizor can dodge those. But he does have very bad matchups against all these special attackers. So if it's a special attacking, you know what? He's probably more of a counter pick. But he's probably one of the best counter picks out there, honestly. If you didn't have that weakness, I mean, you play Swords Dance, but right now I think he's a niche character right now. And next, and then Scyther. Actually, Scyther I think is a great pick right now. Gets online very early compared to Scizor. Scizor needs to get to like 7 to be doing something, or get 11 to do something. Scyther's online at 5 and can do something at least. Scyther is really strong, especially with like the Muscle Band changes. Again, kind of a trend with Scyther and Scizor. The Muscle Band change really tends to do really well with these characters where they don't actually need a stack anymore, because Muscle Band does all the work in the laning phase for them, and then you don't need stacks. You play weakness, muscle. That's honestly my 2 go-to items. After that, it's kind of up in the air. You can go like Razor if you want to, or you can go Amplifier. Other than that, the character's very flexible. The character's really good. A lot of people are playing it, so on and so forth. Azu, I think it's kind of niche. It might not even be that great, honestly. It needs to get an early lead in order to do something. It can do some things if it gets an early lead, but then it falls off. And Falinks, not saying it's a total counter pick. Let's just get this straight. Falinks does not counter Azu whatsoever. It doesn't. But it does really. But Azu does struggle against it sometimes if Falinks gets a lead on it. If Falinks struggles and Azu gets a lead, then it doesn't matter what Falinks is. Azu actually does really well against it. But Azu overall in the meta, not so great. Sword, again, another counter pick. The recent changes to its cooldowns were decent. Is that enough? It's hard to tell. I say it's still niche. I wouldn't play it. It's still like just like sometimes you can have a great game with it and just pop off, and then sometimes you just feel like I don't want to play this character anymore. Serena, my girl. This is my favorite character to play in the game. I actually think she's actually pretty decent right now. So I think she's a good counter pick character. I would not play her into any of the meta picks. Any meta picks, she kind of like really struggles. But any other picks, like anything in the great picks area, she does really well. Like I think she beats Lucario. I think she destroys Scyther. Scizor. Garchomp gets a little annoying, but at least you can get to Serena against Garchomp. So I think she's on the cusp of being great, but there are some things holding her back, and some of the meta picks just make it hard and difficult. All right, Buzzwole. Once this character, what is he now? Still a great pick. Get it straight here. Buzzwole's still good. If you think he's bad, I think you're just bad. Moving on. Zacian here, meta pick. If it ever gets legal, it'll be meta. But so he's not. So I'm actually gonna make another row below here, since I just realized that we have EX Mons. Alright, so EX Mons are gonna go in here since they're not legal. But I'll still give them my 2 cents on like what. Yeah, it's EX mons here. So EX, if Zacian was legal, he'd be up here. Actually, would he be? Yeah, he still would be. He would do really well against Falinks, the Sacred Sword, so he'll be up here. But other than that, he would be right here for now till he actually gets legal. Mewtwo, also AX not legal, but he'll be like right around here. He just is there. He does something when he gets Mega. When he doesn't do Mega, he's just kind of there, unkillable. But so is Buzzwole and some of the other tanks, which are meta. If all Mewtwo has going for him is he's hard to kill and can just CC one character, I think it's sort of like Buzzwole's job, but like not as. It's just more you just stand there and just press a button and win type of thing. It's okay. Blaziken, I think is a meta pick right now. The only thing is that it needs levels. It needs at least 5, and it can be a struggle. But I think it's doable. I think you can make it work. If you get online at 5 and guys win even, you basically are winning the game at that point. Scales really well. Does really well against all the meta picks right now. I think it's a great pick. Mimikyu, I think it's not really a top laner. I think it's more of a jungler pick, but people do play it. I think it's kind of niche in a top laner sense. But if it gets going, I mean, it's Mimikyu. Mimikyu's definitely one of the best mons in the game, but jungler-wise, I think it's better jungler. But if you play a top lane, I think it's decent. You just gotta skip 5, which can be tough. All these characters right here can all like be categorized as they need levels. They need a little bit of levels in farming. They can't just do something in the early game. And I know Scyther's right here, but Scyther actually does decent damage in the early game. You know what? Then the more I think about it, I think Machamp's actually a lot better. Then I'm gonna put Machamp up here. Right, Metagross here. I'm kind of biased here. I think Metagross is actually really strong. Specifically, and both builds are pretty decent. You do it against, depending on the comp. Like if they're gonna be grouped up a lot, like LD comps, then you can go with Gyro Ball. If then they're gonna be a lot more split, like it's gonna be a lot more like 2v2s, 3v3s, a lot more splitting and just more like less team fight, more just skirmishing. You can also go for the Meteor Mash, which is really good against those 1v1s, 2v2s, and even 1v2s. You can still like pulverize people. So I think this character is actually very much slept on. I think it's a meta pick. And then next up is Gyarados. Gyarados is definitely really strong. He just needs to get Gyarados. And with the right team comp and the right team synergy, you can definitely make this character work. Simple and clean as that. Just help your Magikarp. Help your Magikarp get in the game and this so I can actually do something. Don't put in jungle, please. You're throwing the game. And Talonflame. So now we're getting to Speedsters here. So Speedsters, it's kind of like a hit or miss. Either that they're really good or they're really bad. There's no like in between. That's just how it is with Speedsters. And we're actually not gonna start with Talon. I'm actually gonna start with Zera. Zera is actually being played in the top lane after it changes where it got a level 5, where it can now get a level 5 ability. People were thinking about it being like a top laner, which I actually think is kind of doable because its passive lends it to want to fight more and more. And in lane, you're gonna be fighting a lot, right? So I think it's built for that, but its kit and stats just don't. It can get an early lead, but then it just kind of just falls off a little bit. Like it needs to get more levels. Like it needs levels. As much as like it got that buff it needed, it still feels like it doesn't do enough. The ult is just not as, I would say, impactful. It definitely can if you get the right person. But the fact that you just stand there, hit them with something, and then the thing travels to get to them, they can already flash out, get to their team. Their team can react, and it's not as impactful as these other ults, which are just immediate impact compared to Zera. I think Zera's ult should be a little bit different. I think it doesn't lend to the character wanting to stand there and auto in that circle. It's just he wants to just get there and get out. It just doesn't work well. I think they should rework his Unite. I think that's what this character really needs. Next I'll go into Talonflame. I think Talonflame's actually a great pick right now. For both builds, I think you can Is he better than Mewtwo? Well, yeah, Mewtwo's an EX, so. Will I say he's better than Lucario? No. 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 I think he's right here. Because at least at level 1 through 4, he can still do something. 5, he's actually pretty decent. 7, he's actually a monster. Because he doesn't need jungle. He just wants to, like, just speed, early lead, and just snowball. And a lot of the meta picks right now, he does really well against. Like, he does well against Mew, does well against Glaceon. All these other picks, he just does really well against. And so it tends to work well in his favor. The next we got Absol here. He's not that great right now. Why did I put him on here? There was a time and point where Absol was meta in top lane where he got that buff. Where Cycle Cut was kind of crazy. If you guys were here Season 2. I think it was Season 2. No, it had to be Season 1. Where he had that huge buff. And ever since then, people were thinking about having Absol on the top side. It just doesn't work out. People try to, and it can work out, but it's not that great. Don't play it. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about just taking him off the list, but like I'm putting him in not great for right now. Dodrio, I think is a solid pick. I think it can be better than Talonflame, but it kind of needs some help a little bit. If it gets the little help that it needs, then it's actually pretty good. Level 5, it's just kind of crazy, better than Talonflame, but Talonflame's a lot more like more self-sufficient. It doesn't need the help. But if it gets it, then great. Dodrio needs a little bit of help in the top lane. Oh, not great character. Meowscarada needs help a little bit. The level 1 through 5, it's a safe lane. Don't get me wrong, like, you know, you basically can get stacks for free and not get punished or anything. But he just needs a little help because after the bees, yeah, you tend to still need farm, and by that time you're trying to get farmed for level 6. Their top laners are already 5 and power spiking and can possibly kill you before you get to your level 6, and then it's donezo, right? All these characters up here literally can get 5 and just be fine. Buzzle's fine at 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then what does Meowscarada do at 5? Nothing. It's like it's a Serena problem. It needs 6. Once it gets 6, then it's online, can do something. It's just risky. So for that, I can't put in great. It's a great pick. If it gets going and everything, it's crazy. But it just needs a little bit of help, like Serena. And sometimes that help's not good enough. Leafeon is a meta pick. Such an easy lane. Both builds are great. It just does its job really well and Swift, and it's so fast. Like when it jumps on something, it's just gonna kill something. Even if you save the person, it gets out. It just has that ability to just do big damage, quick burst damage. It doesn't kill the thing, it runs. Rinse and repeat until you actually kill something. If you just die after your ult, then I don't know what to tell you. You should be able to just go in with your ult, kill something. If you don't kill it, then you just get out. Especially if you're going the Razor Leaf build. Right. Next is Zoro. Zoro's becoming more of a niche pick the more I see it in top lane. When I see it in jungle. Jungle is just so good. Yes, you can, but like, why do that to yourself when you can just play it in the jungle? But if you want to do it, you can. But I would strongly suggest staying away from the top side. Just play it in jungle. It's so much better. You can still do work with it, but play at your own will. Alright, next we're actually getting into tanks now. Tanks right now, like I'm saying, you're going to see a trend right now, like why some of these characters are not that great, like Mimikyu, Garchomp, Dragonite, because I think they're good characters, even Scizor, but it's because tanks are kind of a problem. First of all, Blastoise, meta pick. Probably one of the best characters in the game right now. Flexible, can go anywhere in any role. That's what makes it super strong in itself, but still, once you know what lane it's in, it's still going to do what it's going to do. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to deal with it. You can try and bring it back and try and stop it from getting levels, but even so, it's going to get the levels it's needed and get a big ult, and then it just changes the whole tempo of the game. The ult is just really like the biggest thing. The CC, how tanky it is. All the builds are so good. Character needs nerfed. But they're not going to nerf it soon because Gen 1 people. Next, we got Crustle here. Crustle's kind of a niche pick. It can work out with Shell Smash. You would definitely play Shell Smash here. This is a Shell Smash top laner, 100%. I think it's actually decent. You just gotta have to get going. You gotta be careful. It can be susceptible to just the jungler, like everyone just ganking the top side against the Crustle. Because then what most good teams will do is that they'll see that the Crustle top lane with Shell Smash, then they'll be like, oh, okay, he's the only one there, let's all go up and try and kill him. As soon as like the Crustle tries to defend, presses Shell Smash and dies. Every time. It's happened to me. It just, he cannot defend that pad. Yes, he's categorized as a defender, but he does not have the stats when he does Shell Smash. He has a carry move, and he's not great at defending. So you kind of need to play him like more of like a Greedent style, like where he's roaming around, just doing other things while someone else like guards the pad. So if you can work with that niche pick, then I think it's a good pick. Greedent, I think character's being slept on right now, as well. It just needs that level 5, and you gotta know what you're doing with this character to make it work, and you gotta know what build to play in certain matchups. Because there will be some matchups you're just like, man, I should win Belch. Oh, I should have went this one. Should have went that one. But Greedent definitely can do it. You just gotta be careful. It can be countered, but I think it's actually a decent pick. I think people sleep on it. Quote me on that one. Yo, what's up, Turtles? How you doing, man? We're just making a quick top lane tier list here. This will be posted on YouTube, so you know, say hi to YouTube, folks. Other than that, here. So far, like that's why I think about Greedent. I think it's actually kind of slept on here. Goodra here. See, my heart tells me I want it here, but I know that it's not that great right now. I think it can work. You need a team around it. You need to have in the right situations. And you need to know what build to play. This is mostly the Muddy Water build when you're playing super tanky. Then you also gotta remember that there are things called true damage in the game. CC still a factor. Goodra game CC still sucks because Goodra relies on his abilities and autos to get resets and more muddy waters. If you get CC'd, it kind of just struggles. If there's no CC in the comp and you make a team around it, no CC, and the enemy has no CC, character just runs wild. Seriously, it's kind of like annoying, but like every top team's gonna have like a CC mon, something of CC, and so then it just goes all the way down. And then like it's just special attackers are still running around rampant. Delphox, Espeon, Glaceon, Intel. Like how's Goodra gonna catch these these little shits? Sorry, they're just annoying. Good chilling, good to hear, bro. So that's my take on it. I mean, maybe time will tell, but I think Goodra just needs a little bit more in the top lane. I don't think they're gonna buff it, but it just needs something else, or the meta needs to shift to less CC. If there's less CC in the game, then Goodra gets better. Then again, a lot can just get better with no CC. Next up is Tree. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's one of the best. This character just, I literally went online, started playing the game. I didn't play the game for like 3 days, and I was like, let me play Tree. I'll play Tree. Character just, tell me why Woodhammer, fully stacked at level 9, does like almost 1200. And that's for each wing. Bam, bam, each one's like almost 1200. That's not including like Horn Leech. That's just annoying. Also, Pain Split just makes some characters just messed up. Garchomp hates that character. Shadow Claw Mimikyu kind of hates that character. Machamp also hates that character. Scizor kind of hates that character too. Like, there's so many characters that just don't like Pain Split that you just have that ability to just say, well, you're not gonna have fun today. So, haha. Like that's what Tree says. Tree's like that type of character. But like, besides the Pain Split build, the Curse build also does way too much damage. I don't know why they buffed it, but please nerf. Please reiterate back. I think the Woodhammer change was fine. I think Curse, I can leave the Curse. I guess you can leave the Curse alone if you really need Curse to be good. Go right ahead, but Pain Split needs to be, get rid of that thing. It's way too easy. It's brain dead easy. Oh, Lapras, how you fallen from grace. Once here and now is probably like, did I really try to make this character work? I've tried so many times, and the more I play it, the more I'm just like, I wish I could play more of it, or like I wish it was just better. But it just keeps on. You need stacks with this character, and you could do great, but like it needs stacks, it needs levels. It just farms too slow. That's honestly the big problem. It just farms way too slow for it to be reliable. All right. Yo, what's up, CD? Where's the Cinder top lane? Nah, man. Nah, we ain't going there. Don't even get me started. Okay, also, why is there no Falinks on here? That's one thing. If Falinks was here, okay, let's just pretend that Falinks is here. Falinks, if he was on this list, he would be like, to be top. Like, probably, is he better than Blastoise? No. No, he's not. He would be like right next to Tree and Blastoise. Falinks good. But doesn't mean that. And the only reason why Falinks is not like one of the best characters, not that because he doesn't do well against Blastoise or Tree, but because like there are some bad matchups that he has. Like Blaziken, just I think is crazy bad for it. Lucario does really well against it. Scyther actually does really decent, I think. Dojo does decent. Metagross does decent. I mean, if you troll with Talonflame Brave Bird, then yeah, you can have some funny stuff. But like, yeah, no, Falinks is definitely the third best, honestly. Alright, next we're going into attackers. Now you're gonna be saying like, what attackers? Like, top lanes only look for like physical attackers or whatever. But yeah, no, like there are some top laners that are pretty decent. There's Venusaur. I think you can play it. It's very niche. Your main job is to try and make sure that the top laner does not get anything started, and you're just wailing him with like autos and just making his life crap. You only play Venu with like an LD lane, like. Where the heck is it LD? You play the LD Venu in the top lane, and you just makes the top laners lane hell, basically. But of course, you gotta have the right knowledge that you can do that. So that's my point on that. But you can still do it. I mean, this is mostly Pell Dance. You have to play Pell Dance Venu here. It'd be kind of weird just play Solar Beam here. Just I don't know why you're doing that to yourself. Next up is Mew. Mew is actually pretty decent. You can play it. Would I recommend it? Actually, it's not that bad. You just have a very good early game, but you can't really stop someone from stacking, really. So if they're stacking on you, you're just going to like lose the lane. But if it's a non-stacking Mon, you can play this character and do well. Most of the time, this is played in top lane in the first round of Bs. It's like a round of Bs that takes a jungle or whatever the case may be, because the jungler is playing for 5, like Urshifu played in jungle, and then comes top lane afterwards, and Mew takes jungle. That's kind of what you do with this character. So, that's Mew there. Nothing else to say on that character. I'm not really a Mew expert, so any other Mew players in the chat, which I may know, 1 or 2. But I haven't played this game since release. I love Slobo. Hope he's still good. He's definitely still good. Well, is he a top laner? Probably. He's not a top laner carry. I mean, you can, but like, he's not that great. I'll just be real with you. Next up is probably the weirdest pick out of the bunch, Mr. Mime. He is pretty decent. He's kind of niche. I wouldn't play him right now. It's just a lot of things you gotta worry about. But I mean, he can still do something at least. Unlike these characters where they need to get something done. Something needs to go their way. These characters at the bottom need something to happen for them to be good. These characters can still do something early. Maybe not the greatest, but they do something. These characters do something at 5 pretty early. Then these characters always do something. With the Falinks. But besides that, and then if you want to put a meme in there, Snorlax, Flaylax, Snorlax, don't do it. Actually, no, Flaylax is the best character in the game, hands down. Well, hey guys, this is the tier list here. Flaylax is the best character in the game. So you go and like this video, subscribe to me if you like what you see. If you think Snorlax is the best character in the game, please leave a comment and like it. Okay. Anyways, yeah, no. So don't play Snorlax in the top lane. Please don't. That was a joke. Other than that, if you guys think I'm missing anything, please let me know. I'm not gonna count anything I just don't deem as a top laner. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching this video here. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next.